Joining us now from Libby, Montana, is Emily. So take a look at this beautiful holiday photo of Emily. And it's her boyfriend, Wesley, her 2-year-old daughter, Judith, and her 4-month-old son, Kenneth. Very peaceful, loving photo. So it's hard to imagine that harsh cheating rumors have not only caused this couple to call off their engagement, but those same rumors have Wesley denying both of these children. Now, before I get into the story, I want to salute Libby, Montana, Emily, because guess what? That's about an hour from where I live in the Flathead.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
You ever heard of the Flathead Beacon, the newspaper?
Yeah.
That's my newspaper. My wife, Connie
Nice.
Chung, and I created that newspaper.
That's awesome. That's super exciting.
And it's one of the
That's
best
amazing.
newspapers in the state of Montana. And I want to thank
Yes,
the
sir.
entire staff of the Flathead Beacon. Now, this is the guy you want to marry, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, from the beginning of our relationship, everything seemed to be next to perfect. I mean, we seemed to be on the same level of understanding of what we wanted in the relationship, and then things just went south. That's what it seemed like. Like, he didn't seem like he, thought that he needed to continue putting in effort for things to continue going the way that they were. It's like he thought that, he could just stop and everything would continue to be good for us.
So let's get down to it. It's all about what other people say, isn't it, Emily? All about all these rumors that have destroyed your family. Tell me about them.
So we worked together when everything happened, and he does really well at what he does, and everybody just kind of took advantage of him. And when I came into the picture, it was like, he tried to set boundaries and nobody else was okay with it. They continued to try to take advantage of him, and they found every way possible to make me out to be the bad guy.
When you got pregnant with Judith, what was Wesley's reaction?
He was really excited, actually. I think that he was probably more excited than I was. I was terrified. I wasn't sure what his reaction was going to be. I went and I told him, and the first thing that he said was that he was really excited and that he asked if he could tell everybody about it, and he told me that he was going to take care of me and take care of our baby and our family.
Who tried to brainwash him while you were pregnant with your daughter about whether he was the father or not?
Some of his family members. From the very beginning, I didn't pick up on any issues that we had, but as soon as I found out that I was pregnant, they were very upset.
They were upset with you because you were now pregnant. That meant there was going to be a relationship between you and Wesley, and that you were pulling him away from his family.
Right.
So I'll admit that
Go ahead.
my family did intervene. They got in my head and they made me feel like I couldn't trust her the way that I should be able to. And it was hard coming from them because they were my family. They were supposed to
I
be the
never
closest
gave you
people
any
to me.
reason not to trust me.
I know that, and it wasn't your fault.
What happened at the hospital when you gave birth to Judith, Emily?
These family members, they came, and it wasn't like 45 minutes, maybe an hour after she was born, that they took him out into the parking lot, and he was gone for an hour, if not longer. I had no idea where he was. I was texting him, calling him, and he wasn't responding. And then when he came back inside, he told me that they were basically telling him that he wasn't the father, I was unfaithful. They were telling him all this stuff about me that wasn't true.
You went against your family.
I had to. My new family, the family that I was creating.
Then
meant
why are
far
you
more to me.
denying them today?
Because after that, that was just the start. That was the start. They said it, it got into my head, and then after what you said, and after what other people had said, it was all too much for me to be able to just believe one thing was true.
So then life goes on. You go back to work, and Emily, apparently, he meets up with a coworker, right?
Yes.
And he cheated on you.
Yes, he did. And I mean, when I found out about it, it was like my world just stopped. My best friend, the love of my life. I mean, it was just a huge slap in the face.
And then this person started planting rumors in his head that your little boy was not his.
Yeah, well, I mean, when my son was born, or when I found out that I was pregnant with my son, he was really excited. And then, he was there for all of my doctor's appointments. He was there when he was born. It wasn't but like 3 or 4 weeks after he was born that he was questioning things. When we broke up last year, for a couple of months, he immediately started trying to get back together with me, and he was just really pushy about it. And so I told him that I cheated on him because I knew he already struggled with it because of what other people had said. And, it wasn't true. I just wanted him to leave me alone so that I could process things. But he said that because of what I had told him and because of what his coworker and his family had told him, that he believed it.
Here's the problem, Emily. It doesn't matter whether a guy cheats or not, but when he hears that the woman he loves is cheating, whether it's true or not, it drives him nuts.
Absolutely. And on top of the things that, my family had already been saying, when she said that, it was like an answer after all.
Even though you were the guilty one.
Yeah.
How did you allow this other woman, who you were cheating on Emily with, to get into your head? Why? How could you let that happen?
So the thing about it is that after everything that my family had already tried to convince me of, and then after what she said, and I felt like I was losing her, I felt like she was leaving me, like she didn't want to be with me anymore. So I slept with this woman, trying to get Emily's attention, trying to show her that, I'm a person too.
Take a look at these two kids. You think they look like Wesley?
Absolutely. I mean, especially my son. I think that he is his twin, and my daughter too. My daughter has his nose.
Emily, what kind of a father is Wesley?
He's a really good father. Like he says what he says, like to me, and he said things in front of the kids too, and like that's really frustrating. I mean, I know they're little, and they don't understand, but like the interactions with the kids, he's so good with them.
What is it about you that you're so open to believing a lot of other people?
Well, Mr. Maury, when we got pregnant with our daughter, everything was really good. It was the perfect picture family, and I thought that it was all going to turn out wonderful. When my parents, who were the only people that I'd ever had in my life, they started telling me exactly what I didn't want to hear. They were telling me that Emily was unfaithful, and they believed that our child was not my child. And it twisted my brain because I had lived with them my whole life. They're the only people that I knew, and I trusted them.
Did you ever think of the fact that maybe they loved you so much, they might have thought that Emily was interfering in their love for you?
Of course, it was a thought that crossed my mind, and she said so as much.
They don't know me.
Emily says, Wesley, that at your work, your friends, you kind of like invite them over. They're around a lot.
Yeah, I was a very social person. I had a lot of fun.
Right. The way Emily describes it at the hospital when Judith was born, you did go outside and let your family see the baby.
I did, absolutely, yeah.
And then you made a terrible call, terrible decision about messing with a coworker.
Yes, sir, absolutely. That was one of the biggest regrets that I have in my life, and I will carry it until the day that I die.
Okay, just hold it right there. Emily, you believe him?
I believe him to an extent because, I just don't understand, like, where the questioning of the paternity is coming from. Because, yeah, like, after it happened, we got back on track. Everything was good. He went out of his way to do things so that I would trust him. He went over the top. He was over-communicating. He was setting boundaries. He was doing the things that he should have done in the beginning that he didn't do. And so, yeah, I believe him to an extent because, this girl has been a problem, like, still. Just the other day, she was still causing issues.
I made a huge mistake, and I am made of regret. I'm made of guilt. And it's just that under the circumstances, after what you had told me and after everything that my family was trying to do, it was just too hard to try to believe one person over everybody else, even though you're the most important person to believe. And that's why I am so racked with guilt.
Wesley, if I prove that you're the father...
Why do you still need a DNA test to prove it?
Well, everybody around him needs it, so he might as well get it. And that's what I was going to talk to you about. Wesley, if I prove that you're the father of these two children, will you tell your family to suck it up?
Absolutely, without a doubt. More than that.
Do you think that you will go... the engagement's broken off. Emily, can you all get back together if I prove that he's the father of both?
I sure hope so, as long as he, quits with the accusations. That's all that I want.
I got a big stake here. You all live near me, okay? So I'm hoping that this is what everybody wants. Here we go. In the case of 4-month-old Kenneth, Wesley, you are the father.
I freaking told you.
And in the case of 2-year-old Judith, Wesley, you are the father.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Judith, would you do me a favor? I know there's a lot going on outside of the two of you, but I get the feeling you could forgive him.
Yes, all I want is for us to get back on track and get back to the way that things were. All I want is to be able to put a wedding date on the calendar and move forward.
All I wanted was to know, and now that I know, I feel so bad for not having believed you, and I feel so bad for choosing other people's opinion over yours, and I am so so sorry, and I love you with all my heart, and all I want to do is get married to you and stay with my family.
Sounds like a good way to end the story.
You are not the father.